Okay, so here's the story. Maybe 4 weeks ago, or let's go back another couple of weeks. A few weeks ago, 5, 6, something like that. And I went to Lowe's and got clear plastic, and I figured I'm going to try to do that in this small garden, raised garden bed that I built maybe 3 years ago close to the house, so I can grow, you know, things like parsley or a couple carrots or things that I need to quickly get out and grab for a meal. I figured it will be easy to try over here. So I went to Lowe's, got that clear plastic and cut it to size and covered my beds. I'll show you more in a minute. Anyway, I started some seeds indoors because I decided that I'm gonna try to just plant beets and lettuce and whatever smack in the middle of winter. So started them indoors, and then a couple of weeks later, maybe 3 weeks later, I made another decision, and that decision was that I'm going to visit my family in Israel. So then I had a couple of trays with a bunch of seedlings that were doing great out inside, but to get those seedlings outside in like the end of December when they're this tiny, well, you know, I knew it's not gonna work and I figured they're gonna die, but I just decided to go and visit my family with all the COVID stuff that is going on. That was pretty much my only time to go. So I took those 2 trays that I had and I stuck them out over here under some plastic and covered them with the frost fabric. Didn't think much about it. And I just came back a couple of days ago and I'm so amazed that all my lettuce seedlings actually survived. I didn't water them, I didn't take care of them, I didn't do anything for 3 weeks I was away. The cover stayed over them. I guess maybe it collected some moisture, so it watered them. I don't know exactly what happened, but I have a bunch of lettuces that are ready for planting, and it is like the 2nd week of January. So I guess I'm gonna just move on with my plan and plant them, and we'll see what happens. That's what I'm gonna do now. I'm also going to clear a few beds here and kind of sort and organize this garden because I have a little bit of a mess here. So I'll show you how I do that, because really this is North Carolina and it's 55 degrees today. We don't really have such a hard winter. I know some of you might be watching it and thinking, you know, middle of January, can't even see the soil. But here we don't have such a hard winter, and we start planting like now onions and, you know, things like that. We can already plant a couple of weeks from now. We can plant parsley. Valentine's Day we can plant peas and beans and beets and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So really it's just around the corner. We're going to clean this up and get it ready for planting. So this is a tray of 128 cells, and you can see that the lettuce is doing pretty good. I also planted a few kale plants over here. They're not looking great, but some of them I think might still do good if I plant them in the garden. So we might try to do that too. These I'll definitely plant right now, and I hope that they'll be ready for us to eat and for market in maybe middle of March or like end of February. So I wanted to show you the difference. This is plastic, just clear plastic, and I found this in Lowe's. It's a 4 meal. There's also a 6 meal, but here for North Carolina, 4 meal is enough. So that's a plastic. I think it was like 10 feet wide by a roll of 100, or I don't know, 50 or something like that. And it's where they sell all the paint and stuff, at least in here. And this is fabric, right? So this is the fabric, and this is the plastic. The fabric I got, I can't remember, I think maybe Johnny Selected Seeds or Farm Tech, but I will put all the links below the video. And you can see that all of my beds in this little garden have those metal hoops, the wire hoops, to hold the plastic or the fabric, and I got those from, I think, Farm Tech. Again, I will put the links below the video. So I cleaned this bed a little bit, and now it's time to plant the lettuce. We'll water it a little bit before. It just makes it a little easier to get the seedlings out of the cells. We are planting lettuce about 8 to 10 inches away from each other and all sides. So I got my butter knife here and just want to grab the plant in its neck and take it out of the cell. And just plant. Push the soil around it a little bit. I don't know if I have enough room here for all of them. I might need to use another bed too, which is fine. Oh, they have good and long roots. So I'm going to do I'm going to do three rows. Probably going to have to use another bed. I did not add compost. I usually add compost before I start planting. And I have another video that I'll link to below or above on how I add compost. I usually just use my animal manure. Everything is muddy now, so I don't feel like messing with it today. But I will add more, maybe compost, maybe some worm castings around the plants later, or some manure later. But they should be good because I did add compost to this bed during the summer, so hopefully the soil is rich enough here. I think it is. I have a whole series on the blog on how to start seeds and how to harden your seeds before your seedlings before you transfer them to the garden. All the information you need to know, so I'll link to that as well. This bed is planted and done. I still have a whole lot more lettuce to plant. That was a tray of 128 plants, and not all of the sales were lettuce, but most of them. So I might use the other bed too. I'm just gonna water this real quick. The ground was pretty moist anyways, but I wanted to show you what I'm going to do. Usually when I transplant, I love to use straw or something to help the transplants with the transplanting shock. But obviously I think these guys are pretty used to the weather outside since they've been here for like 3 weeks now. But we are still in the middle of January after all, and night temperatures can go to 20, lower 20s and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this fabric, the frost fabric, and I'm just going to lay it over the plants. And over that, I will cover the bed with the clear plastic, and that will be plenty of protection for them from the frost. I'll keep it for a little bit, and then I might remove the fabric if I see that they're doing good. So just like that, and then we'll cover the bed. Okay guys, so I hope this kind of gives you an idea that even during the winter you can still grow vegetables. I will be honest, messing with all this plastic and frost fabric, it's a little annoying, but that's if you don't have a greenhouse, that's kind of what you got to do to protect your plants from the cold. It's not that bad. Everything grows much slower during the winter, so really I don't need to mess with it that much. I pretty much harvest, a lot of the stuff that I have here or had here, wherever I put the lettuce, I had a whole bed of beets, and those couple of beds of carrots were all full, and the parsley was already, big and ready for harvest from the fall. All of this was planted in the fall, and then I just covered it. And during the winter, mostly what I got to do is to, stick my hand under there and harvest a couple carrots or a couple beets or, a little bit of parsley, whatever I need. This is kind of a new thing for me too. My plan is to try and plant as much as I can in the fall and then just cover it. But I did want to check what happens if I actually plant things right now. What I see right now is they still germinate, they're still growing, they are protected and fine under the cover. However, they grow way, way, way slow. So if my greens would have probably be ready in 3 weeks, during the growing season, in April or May or June, then now they've been there already for a month and they're not ready. I still need a couple more weeks. So everything is growing and it is possible to protect it. It's just growing really much slower than in the growing season. You know, you just kind of have to figure out if it's something you want to do or if you just prefer to wait a few more weeks. But anyway, like I said before, our growing season is really close, and I love starting to plant in this little garden first and then move on to the bigger gardens, because then everything that is ready is just right there close to the house, and getting those fresh vegetables early in the spring is just so awesome. So I hope this lettuce is going to do good. I'm assuming that it will probably take it another 6 weeks or so to reach maturity. At some point I might remove the frost fabric that I put under the plastic, because I really do think that the plastic will be enough. I also wanted to let you know that I got these seeds at Southern States, and it is a butter crunch. I think it said on the seed packet butter crunch lettuce. It did not have any variety on it. It came in those Southern States blue seed packets with not much information on it. It is really good lettuce. It is so hardy. I even have a couple of them still growing uncovered completely in the front. You know, I have like a garden bed around the house and I put a few there. I still have a couple there that are, you know, growing without cover at all. This is like a super hardy lettuce, and the thing is, the leaves are not tough. They're pretty nice and very tasty. So I don't know, I think maybe I'll just stick with that lettuce. A few people at the farmers market just loved it. I also harvest it young, so you can let it go all the way to a big head of lettuce, or you can harvest baby, you know, baby lettuce leaves and stuff like that. So my customers at the market really like that. So I might do that with this lettuce. I might take whatever I have left and just plant them much closer to each other, and then use these bed to cut lettuce. You know, just cut it a couple of times, because once I cut it once, it will still grow and come back again. Kind of like mixed greens or whatever, you know, loose lettuce leaves that you plant as a mixed greens for salad. I might do that with the rest of them. We'll see. So anyway, I will see you in the next video. Please subscribe and like, and keep growing even if it's cold outside. Bye guys.